let's talk about the NFL schedule.
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Brees Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be talking about the schedule. But instead of going through the useless exercise that is trying to predict all 18 games, which I would be lying to you if I said I didn't actually try to do. But I want to talk about more the ideas of what I would like our schedule to look like in the long term and in the short term, and like the plans that if I was making the Jets schedule from the perspective of a fan, that I would attack the schedule making process with. So the great thing with the New York Jets schedule is that we have a really good mix of what should be considered easy opponents for the New York Jets, a really good mix of moderately decent opponents, and then a good mix of, hey, these are Super Bowl playoff contending teams that you're going to have to match up with at the Super Bowl or in the playoffs if you want to make a deep run. And so we're going to see every level of the NFL with the New York Jets schedule this year, from the bottom of the barrel in the Houston Texans and the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots, all the way to the top of the cream of the crop in the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. So I really, really like the schedule that way. It's a very difficult schedule because obviously we have to play the Bills twice, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Chargers, the Cowgirls. There's a lot of good teams on the on the slate for the schedule, but there's a couple of easy wins too. The Houston Texans, the Atlanta Falcons, the Cleveland Browns, the New England Patriots twice, the Washington Commanders. These are teams that we should be able to beat like really handedly and really easily. And so really interesting schedule. But if I was building this schedule, here are the three things that I would like to see from the schedule makers regarding the New York Jets schedule. The first one is I would like to see the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. I would like to see all of those games happening before week 6. Now, those are all home games. So it'd be really hard to say like, hey, you're just going to play all of those games at home. But in my eyes, I would love to get a baptism by fire for this football team. I totally understand what people are going to say in the comments, and I hear you, right? Oh, let's get the easy opponents early. Let's get this team gelling. Let's get this team going and ramp up slowly. But there's a couple of things that I like to think about when it comes to doing this baptism by fire idea that I have and that I'm envisioning for this team. One, I don't think that there's going to need to be a ton of gelling time for this team. Yeah, we're getting a new quarterback and all of that stuff, but it's not like the quarterback is learning a whole new offensive system. It's not like our players are learning a whole new offensive system. And we kept most of our defensive players here. I look at it as it's time for this New York Jets team to put up or shut up, and getting this, like I said, this baptism by fire sprinkled in over the first 6 weeks would really put this team in a position, one, to figure out who they are against the toughest competition, but two, these are the matchups that are going to be happening in the playoffs. Getting them done earlier in the year before your offenses and your defenses adapt and change and, go throughout the year and like evolve. They get to see the earliest version of you, but you also get to see the earliest version of them. And again, everything I'm saying is a double-edged sword. I think that the New York Jets would be better served by giving them the early playbook versus the late playbook when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Chargers. The other thing is, let's say, for whatever reason, we lose those 3 games in the first 6 weeks. Well, at that point, by week 6, this football team should be 3-3, because I'm not saying that you run all, I don't want the first 6 weeks to be Buffalo, Philly, Kansas City, the Chargers, and then the Cowboys, right? Like, that's not what I'm saying. Sprinkle in some of the easier opponents. Let's face Houston week 1 or week 2. Let's face the Commanders. Give me the Atlanta Falcons. Give me the Cleveland Browns. Give me these teams that are going to be relatively easier wins for the New York Jets, especially with Aaron Rodgers. I'm cool with that. Like, let's do those things. But if you're looking at 3-3 at the beginning of the season, now you get to a relatively easier part of the schedule. Now you get to face New England twice. Now you get to face Miami twice. Now you get to face the Buffalo Bills twice. Now you're getting to face the Texans, the Falcons, the Commanders, the Browns. You know, we don't know what the Broncos are going to be. I have a very, very easy assumption, assuming that Las Vegas Raiders are not going to be good. What are the Giants going to look like in year 2 of this system with Dable and all of that stuff? The opponents get easier after those 3 teams, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Chargers. Well, I would put Buffalo in that list too. But the games get easier in that part of the schedule. And I would much rather the late part of the season be defined by a game against Houston, which at that point are probably trying to lose, versus a team like Buffalo or a team like Kansas City, who we might be competing for the top of the AFC East against, or against with the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe competing for the top of the AFC against. That's my opinion there. That's it. Number 2, I would love to see a later bye week. I know that generally speaking, the New York Jets tend to get screwed with the bye week. Either we tend to get it really, really early, or we tend to it really, really late. I would love for the bye week to be just a little bit later than what we had last year. I think last year we had a week 8 or week 9 bye. I would like to see a week 10 or a week 11 bye. This, in my mind, fits up and matches up perfectly with the timeline that I look in my head, right? I don't want to see Breece Hall back before week 4 or 5, or before week 5 or 6, if we're being honest. I would put him on the IR early in the beginning of the year, let him get fully up to speed. The other thing is that would give this team enough time to, the expectation is that we're going to have injuries, and having a later bye week allows maybe some of those guys to get back for the final stretch and for the playoff run that we're expecting the New York Jets to have. But I think the most important thing is that that's just enough time to, one, not sustain any more injuries, right? Because you're not going to have a super long stint of playing. But the players that would be coming back off of injury are all going to be more than capable of reacclimating to game speed and getting ready for that playoff run. So that would be me. And then the other thing that I would like to see from the schedule makers is, I know that the New York Jets are going to get 6 primetime games. I would like for them all, or at least most of them, to be Sunday or Monday night. I don't want to see more than one Thursday night football game. We know how detrimental it is to football teams to have a Thursday night football game. Now, if you're going to give the New York Jets 2 Thursday night football games, you can do that. Remember that in that situation, they're back-to-back Thursday night football games when something like that happens, so you don't get 2 short weeks. But if the schedule makers are going to give us that, I would like for those to come after the bye week so that we get a full time to prepare for the first Thursday game, full time to prepare for the second Thursday game, and then you add on top of that a long week to get to our regular Sunday night, or not Sunday night, but our regular Sunday football game. So there's that. Let me know what you guys think about my opinions on the schedule. We're going to get it tomorrow. There's already some leaks that we're playing the Giants in October. We're playing not the Eagles. We're playing Miami in November for the Black Friday game at 3 p.m. There's a couple things that are already coming out. I'm really excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.